Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast today. I am with my great friend Dave Amirault, who has a self-confessed face for radio. How you doing, Dave?
Dude, I'm doing fantastic.
Excellent. I'm so glad you could join me today. Uh, we got to catch up in person in Salt Lake City this summer. That was quite a bit of fun. So take me back to how you got to Salt Lake City.
Oh my God, Salt Lake. How like physically, like what vehicle? I mean, you're a car guy, so is this like a car question or like
Which
a life journey question?
which of your stable of vehicles
Well, I
got
only
you?
have two. It's not like I have two moderately priced Mazdas. I'm really balling out here in Salt Lake. Um, now, how did I get here? I took a U-Haul to get here, dragging all my stuff. My journey to Salt Lake was at that point a 16-year history in the ski industry, bouncing around from Maine to Boulder, Colorado, Aspen, Tahoe, and then here.
Yeah.
So I got the big call up to go work at Snowbird about 4 years ago and run their marketing and communications and advertising.
So not just run the marketing, you were director of marketing. You were the head honcho at probably one of the greatest ski resorts on the planet.
I was, yeah, for a while.
Wow. And so you say you started 15, 20 years ago? Was it right out of
20,
college?
20. It was actually before college. So I annoyed the ever living crap out of a place called Sunday River in Maine. At that point, they were one of the growing ski resorts back east, and they had an internet forum, which was essentially just like a big Perl script CGI bin mess of like a message board. And they quickly realized that I could either be on their side or against them. And at this point, I'm like a 15-year-old kid who knew how to make websites because I taught myself HTML um, way the hell back in the day. And I was like, your website's terrible and I can do better. And they hired me to help them manage the community and fix their website.
So did you literally go to them and say, I could join you or I could beat you? Take your
No,
pick.
that's and I found this out later because I had friends that worked there and they were like, internally, we just didn't know what the hell to do with you. Because I had like limitless energy because I'm a 15 and a half year old kid, like with a high speed internet line, like in Rhode Island. Like, one of the first people on the block with a cable modem. And like, I had a broken arm. So I was just like feverishly typing and like developing these like super remedial websites back in the day. But that's what the web was, right? It was just
Uh-huh.
like simple HTML hosted on like shared servers and
Mm-hmm.
like maybe you had Microsoft front page if you were a baller, like, but front page sucked and just made extraneous markup. So this is like way before like CSS and like any database driven everything. It was just super static, but I knew how to make static pages and some dynamic stuff with really remedial web hosts that like I could convince my parents to like enter their credit card so I could have like monthly hosting back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was crazy.
So you combined your kind of natural interest at tech and, most of my peer group, my age, we all got started at around that same time, dinking around with dial-up modems and, goofing around, scratching an itch of this new thing called the internet. And so you combine that kind of interest with your love of snow sports.
Pretty much.
And that
I
set
mean,
you...
so the bar was set pretty low, Josh. Like, it's. I mean, these web pages had like splash screens when you like logged on them. It's like, wow, this can't get any worse. So,
uh,
yeah.
so you got your start back east. And what got you out here to the Rockies?
Well, eventually, like you grow up, right? Like, it's not like you open Powder magazine and you're like, man, check out this 8-page feature on like Wildcat or like any New England based skiing, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the aspirational goal of every true skier is to go find bigger, better mountains with more snow, right? And that eventually just leads you out west, right? So the allure of the West kind of drew me in. And the segue to that, I think what you're trying to scratch at is how I got to Freeskier magazine. So
Mm-hmm.
that was how I moved out west. I was lucky enough where my cousin lived in Boulder, Colorado, like a mile away from their office. And I knew a bunch of the homies there at Freeskier because every time they would come out back east, I would be with them at events and driving them around to rail spots and just like all the things that like they just didn't know because they weren't from back east. And then when they heard I was coming out west, they're like, "Why don't you stop by the office?" So I landed at DIA, dragged my bag like to my cousin's house, and then said, "Drive me to Freeskier magazine." And he's like, "Why?" "I'm just gonna go say hi to the guys." And I left with a job. I had no idea I was like even going for that purpose, but we sat down and talked for a couple hours, and then next thing you know, I was the online editor of Freeskier magazine.
Bang, bang, boom. Wow. And that's, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's Storm Mountain Publishing that runs Freeskier?
Storm Mountain, yeah. So they have, I think they still have the snowboard product. It's been a hot minute since I've really poked around that. But yeah, Storm Mountain Publishing has Freeskier magazine and Snowboard magazine.
Yeah, so
and then they have like some custom publishing stuff as well and all that.
I can speak to that. They still do have the snowboard property. Because fast forward a little bit, when I met you in Tahoe, you introduced me to the fine folks over there. And to this day, the freeskier.com site is our oldest VPS customer. They've been with us the longest.
Look at that.
Yeah, it was right about that time we were shifting from kind of the shared hosting model to the VPS kind of more enterprise level model. And that introduction at Snowshell, they've been our longest customer on that platform.
Hey, it's a good customer to have, man. It's a cool customer to have.
Yeah, so, all right.
Their technological requirements probably aren't that taxing on you guys either.
Well, they're not now. In the early days, it was a little difficult at times, but we certainly helped them figure out how to do some caching better to make much more efficient use of their resources.
Well, that's when everyone got, the migration to you guys was off of a content management system that I wrote with a friend.
Oh, wow. He
did most of the heavy development. Yeah, it was a PHP-based thing that we jokingly called creamy filling. And we put like, I forget if it was varnish or whatever it was, but yeah, we were like, oh my God, like we're getting 800 concurrents and we don't have caching. Oh, let's stay up all night and add caching to this. Like, oh man, the comments are crushing the database. We need to find a way to like fix that. Like, and I was like, why don't we just go WordPress?
You're a one-man DevOps machine. Look at you.
I used to be.
So you were with Freeskier for several years, and then you went on to Aspen Snowmass, correct?
Aspen Snowmass after that. That is correct, yeah. When you get tired of traveling, and at Freeskier, I found that my car was at the airport more than my house. And I really had a great time working there and got to travel the world and do some really unique things. But at the end of the day, like, I lived in Boulder. I wanted to be closer to skiing. And be kind of more in the mountains. And that's when I got a job at Aspen Skiing Company.
So you just said two things there that I think are interesting. One, Boulder is really not that close to the ski resorts.
No, it's not. It's very far, actually.
And two, you probably had the ideal gig for a 20-something young man that you could possibly want. Travel the world, ski, hang out, party, meet your idols, the whole just 6 feet of powder over your head thing.
You'd think, like, yes, there was a lot of that, but what I realized was I was going to these great places, and instead of like skiing, I was standing around like helping the sales team close deals, or like sitting on the side of a half pipe with a camera, freezing my ass off. Like, it got to a point where it was like, I'm not skiing as much as I want, and like at some point you're kind of partied out. Mm-hmm. So, you move to a calm little ski town like Aspen, which doesn't party at all. Yeah, but I did, like, it was a dream job, right? Not dream money by any means, and I had to hustle pretty hard to make ends meet, but definitely, like, a dream situation where these guys, like, who I was watching in ski movies and had posters on the wall, like, reading about them in these magazines, were all of a sudden my friends, and I'm doing trips around the world with them. That's pretty unique, and I don't think really happens anymore, just due to the shifting nature of media and consumption, right? Like,
wow. So that's interesting. So you don't think the kind of boots on the ground staff writer, staff photographer is like following the whole trip? It's all done with freelancers on location that just mail it in, or?
But I've been so removed from that process of like building an editorial product outside of what I do for ski resorts. But Yeah, I don't think they have a staff photographer anymore. Like I know they have someone making sure the website's on and social media and doing partnerships, but
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think the editorial team is as sizable as it was when I was there. And that I think that's pretty universal across ski media properties right now. So
Yeah. So Aspen, beautiful little
yeah.
town. I've been there a couple times. How many famous people did you run into on a daily basis?
They kind of like blend in, right? Like you're you see them, but you know that they're there trying to get away
Yeah.
from their life. Like the ones that are trying to make a scene are like Mariah Carey and Paris Hilton. Like Mariah Carey, you can set a watch by it. Like every Christmas, she shows up with like those stupid boots that like come up to here and like the fur and like Nick Cannon on her arm, or at least she used to, right? And she's really just there to like make an Instagram moment or whatever. Like, oh, Mariah Carey's seen in Aspen. Oh, blah blah blah. Like Paris Hilton's partying again. Like
Yeah.
that kind of crap. But like most of the other people are just there because it's an amazing and authentic mountain experience, and it's expensive as all hell.
Yeah.
It's, it's in their wheelhouse. So, you see celebrities all the time, but like, it's not like you're like bashing them out of your way. Like there's a sea of them, like to fight your way through them, like stiff arming. Like,
Oh, that'd be
Kenny G,
funny.
right? Like, actually, that was funny. I did ride the gondola up with Kenny G once, and I didn't realize it was him until he took his helmet off, and I was like, "Motherfucker, that's Kenny G."
Skiing or snowboarding is a good outlet, I think, for celebrities because it does offer some anonymity.
Yeah.
If you don't have your entourage with you, goggles and a helmet, you could be anybody.
Totally. Unless you're Rihanna, who like shows up and strips naked in the gondola and like just posts an Insta. Like I still think to this day, like the most popular Instagram at Aspen is like Rihanna, like in a bra in the gondola.
Oh my!
Like, surrounded by hot chicks. Like, oh, just out here for my birthday. Like,
Just 'cause
sure.
this is the way they live their life. Oh, I'm just getting a drink of water. No, okay.
Oh, is it hot in here? No, it's a gondola in January.
Yeah, the social media shit has just gone way too far.
Ugh,
We'll touch on
dude.
that in a minute. So, you spent some time at Aspen, then Sierra Tahoe, where, if I recall correctly, it did not snow that year.
It just didn't. Like, it was the peak of the drought in California. Like, I moved on from Aspen and got like my first like big kid like senior staff seat at the table gig where it's like, holy crap, I'm like running a ski resort. This is so cool. And like got to California, I moved from this like 400 square foot apartment in Aspen that was like right downtown. Like it was me, my dog, like 2 bikes, 7 pairs of skis. Like it was a gear locker with a bed and like a hot plate. So like this 2-bedroom with a 2-car garage, like a real kitchen, like a house, like with a yard, like in Tahoe. Like, holy shit, I made it! Like, this is gonna be amazing. And then like it never snowed. Like, I think it snowed 130 inches. The resort closed the middle of March. Like, I had to write that press release. Like, oh my god, what is happening? Like, furlough my staff. Like, all just such a downer.
Yeah, jeez.
But
Didn't it come back a couple of years later? They had a decent season, I think, but you had already gone by then.
They clawed back. I was only there for 1 year, and by no means was I looking to leave that job. I just got offered a crazy opportunity that I had to jump on. And it's funny, I still talk to that team like to this day. Last night I had like an hour and a half conversation with one of their marketers about like them going to a new technology platform.
And so your next jump was to my favorite mountain, but not my home mountain. My home mountain.
What is your home mountain?
Well, so I grew up in Salt Lake, and I had this little trick where, for all you people in the Salt Lake Valley, I would take the bus from my house up to East High School, check into first period, walk down a half block, take the bus up the canyon, go to Brighton, get 2 or 3, 4 runs in at Brighton, have the bus back down the canyon, be back at school by 6th period to check into homeroom again. No absences, got to ride.
You can't do that
No.
that's the magic of Salt Lake, dude.
So yeah, you know, I don't think I did, but you know, if I was going to tell a good story, it's like I spent more days at Brighton than I did in high school. So, but
Could be worse.
you landed at what is my favorite mountain, Snowbird, and you were there for quite a long time, right?
Yep, 4 seasons.
Okay, here's what I love. I love that mountain. I love the snow. And I loved knowing I had a guy in there taking care, a guy I knew, you know, a friendly, taking care of the brand and the marketing and just blowing it out. You know, Snowbird went from this kind of, it's steep, it's rough, it's kind of ragged, the locals love it, but, you know, it kind of this raw image. And you go in there and you're like, yeah, we're going to do this. So tell me a little bit about your work at Snowbird.
So I'm not going to say I inherited a fixer-upper, because there's nothing inherently wrong with any of the products that they sell, right? Like that, you nailed it. That terrain is legendary. The snow that they receive is like super rare. They get some of the most snow on the planet, the best type of snow. The access is crazy close to the city. But when I started digging into like the job, like I have been a lover of skiing there for a long time. Even when I lived in Colorado, I would drive out here and ski. But like the way that they were marketing themselves wasn't true to the brand or the product, right? So I start looking at it and all the marketing materials and communication. I'm like, this is a little soft. Like,
yeah,
if you covered the logo in the corner, you'd be like, is this an ad for Park City? What is this? Why is it like this white family dressed up like Skittles? Like, I get it. But there was some work that needed to be done with like brand perception and messaging and content, and like this Stella needed to get her groove back. You know what I mean? Like It was so, you know, we sharpened it up a little bit, right? Like we
sharpened it up a little bit.
A little. Like I think we went from like being a toothpick to a samurai sword. But it was kind of a rebuild from all the systems aspects, like no consumer database, non-responsive website, like good photography, but not really killing it on social media.
Yeah.
Like when you looked at like everything, you're like, all right, the product is rock solid, but there's some work to be done here with everything else. So systematically, one by one, I just started like going after it. Like, we need to start collecting more data. We need responsive email templates. We need a better ESP. We need a new website. We need to like start leveraging the data. We need to roll back this legacy buy that was like radio and direct mail and billboards.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, they had not even made any online advertising. It was a complete blank slate, right? So I look at the budget. I'm like, where's the line item for online? And they're like, yeah, we don't do that. Even at that point, the summer and the winter marketing budgets were intertwined. So like, you'd just be stealing from one to fund the other. So like, it was kind of a complete teardown from a systems perspective. So before we even got to like nurture the brand, there was a lot of back of house stuff that people didn't see that had to like get changed. So I spent a couple of years doing that.
That's a common thing. You know, I think our own companies suffer from that just a little bit, in that we feel like we have the best product. We have the best, you know, starting position. But to just communicate that brand value, you got to do so much more work. It's not good enough to just to have the best snow and the best terrain in the entire United States. You have to actually put the work in to build the marketing stack, to build the tech stack, to make sure the teams are talking to each other. You're breaking down those silos, and you're actually taking that wonderful product you have and putting it in front of the people that need to see it.
Yeah, it's not just one thing to like blindly beat your chest. Like, there's a lot of finesse that goes into it, and you kind of nailed it with the tech stack, right? Like, their tech stack looked like a Jenga tower when I got there. It was wobbly at best, right? And it just wasn't nurtured, right? But that's because they had people running the ship that weren't technological marketers. And like, to be a modern day marketer, you need to have some sort of awareness of data systems. Like, you don't need a computer science degree, but like, it sure helps.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or you need to surround yourself with a team that understands that, and then like realize, as a leader, these are my soft spots and soft skills that I'm not really good at. So let's hire around that and build a team that understands this and can help build it with me, right? and it just wasn't there. So over the course of those 4 seasons, like, that was my goal, like, create a new and modern marketing team. Though it's not just me that understands it, that like I have a person that does CRM and database, and I have a dedicated web person, a dedicated content person, someone that's managing like our online workflow for all the processes that we have to bang out, like all the signs and menus, and like really create like what I felt was like the modern day ski resort marketing agency of the future. Right? And I'm dead confident that they have that right now.
So you built Madison Avenue quality agency in-house at Snowbird, essentially.
I've never worked with a Madison Avenue quality agency, but I do know that the agencies that we worked with looked at us with a lot of respect because we had similar talent levels. And agencies that we would bring in to complement us were ones in areas of weakness that we didn't have, or the money to like hire someone. Like, okay, like I can't hire a team of developers, but I have a great agency in Portland, Maine that's going to help us build this website. Right? I would love to have internal people all day long, but like, you know, at some point you run out of money and the budget's only what it is. So yeah, I think that we built like a pretty strong contingent of really smart marketers that were also passionate for skiing, which is a big thing, right? Like if the paycheck's not going to be that thick, you got to be able to have the passion for skiing and riding.
Oh, absolutely, right. Work, if you do work that you love, you know, you can make some concessions on some of the other sides. You know, maybe you're not getting top dollar, but if you get to, you know, every day after lunch, you get to go, you know, get a couple tram runs in and then back at the office.
Totally. I mean, like, girls got to eat, right? Like, it's not like we were paying people like obscenely low amounts of money, but like, you know, you can have a good life in Salt Lake.
You're killing me. Oh, okay. I love you, man. You're just so great. Okay, so all right, so you built this kick-ass marketing team. You redid the marketing stack. You put this wonderful hidden gem that we all know and love as Snowbird on a global map. And you did it with style, and you did it with sass. And it's one thing to, like, you know, pat yourself on the back, but your work yielded some accolades from the public, right?
Yeah. So the 1-star, do you want to go to 1-star before you get to that? Or?
Oh, I would love to talk about the 1-star. This is my most favorite thing I've ever heard.
Do you want me to like explain it to the kids at home? All right. So we created an ad campaign, and I'm not sure how you guys are going to cut this all together, but I can send you the PDFs or the JPEGs. If you go to snowbird.com/1star, you can still see the campaign, even though it's you know, they've moved on from it. We created an ad campaign taking all our 1-star reviews from guests. Either they were from post-departure surveys, TripAdvisor, Foursquare, Yelp, and there's no shortage of people complaining about ski areas, right?
Yep.
Like, and we just kind of sifted through it and found the ones that maybe this person shouldn't have been at Snowbird. So, you know, one of them was from a guest. Well, let me see if I have it on me.
Oh, wow, that's so convenient. You just happen to have it?
It's so convenient. I just happen to have some of the framed national awards on me. Actually, I should just open a browser tab. So it was people that maybe shouldn't have been there, and we took their review and we juxtaposed it with a photo showing why they were crazy. So
yeah, so I got one on the top of my head here. The best one I remember is this beautiful bluebird sky. You got the cirque in the background and just a dude sending it off the end of the cirque, right? You know, snorkel level snow. And down in the corner, it's some guy from Los Angeles saying, you know, Snowbird, no bunny hills, you know, the terrain's too steep, you know.
Well, I'll read it. It says, it was Greg from Los Angeles, and Greg gave us 1 star and said it was too advanced. Greg's review read, I've heard Snowbird is a tough mountain, but this is ridiculous. It felt like every trail was a steep chute littered with tree wells. How was anyone supposed to ride in that? Not fun. So we took a gorgeous photo like you were mentioning of like down canyon, beautiful view of Snowbird, and we're like, this guy is insane.
Yep.
That's why you come to Snowbird. You come because the terrain is challenging, because the snow is intense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this guy is crazy. And
some kind of owning the hate mail, essentially, because, you know, we get customer satisfaction surveys too, and somebody's like, we love you, but you're too expensive, or going somewhere else. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's
But you're
fine.
you're taking that kind of like, it's too steep, and saying, yeah, dude, that's what we're all about. That's why we're here.
Well, the way I would tell people is, it's like going to like you're a surfer. It's like if you go to Mavericks and complain that the waves are too big. Like,
Yeah.
that's why you go to Mavericks. Like, in skiing, dude. Okay, in skiing, there's, to me, two types of skiing, and I equate it to people that like going on beach vacations versus surf trips. Park City Mountain Resort is a beach vacation.
Uh-huh.
Snowbird is a surf trip. These are people that wanted beach vacations,
Yes.
but then got thrown into the deep end with the high swell.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to say, Greg would also probably do fine at the canyons.
oh my God.
Dude,
He would love it.
I ended up at the canyons once on a snowboard, and within about 30 seconds wanted to end my life. You know, if you don't know the canyons, it's just 10 miles of flat and a lot of wells, and it's fine if you got skis and poles and you can kind of push yourself. But no, yeah, I would not advise the canyons if you're on a snowboard, unless you have like some sort of jetpack to get you out of every little trough.
Or unless, you know, that's the magic of Salt Lake, right? We literally have a Whitman sampler of like all different types of terrain. So for like a beginner snowboarder, the canyons is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they do have some steeper terrain there, but like, is it like Snowbird? No, it is not like Snowbird. But some people love the canyons. Believe me, they would ask Snowbird why that their Epic Pass wouldn't work at Snowbird. Like, they would ask all sorts of questions.
Wow.
But, yeah, oh yeah, dude, we have seen it all.
So the one star campaign, I just thought was legendary. I watched you kind of go through it on social media, and just people were so ecstatic to kind of see a brand be real. Like, we get it, we're not for everybody, and here's what we are about. And if you want to get on board, let's go. It's kind of like, you know, the new Corvette coming out. Like,
oh yeah,
that is a beautiful, brand new, very radical mid-engine car, and apparently it's like the fastest car you can get under like $65,000 starting price.
Stupid. It'll be with like either it's not Z06, maybe it is a Z06 package, but like 60 grand for a 3-second 0-60 in a mid-engine car. Like, that's bananas.
And so it's like, it's purpose built for a very specific audience to do a very specific thing. And so when Marjorie from Des Moines gets in it and says, "Ow, it's not roomy enough, and I can't put my groceries in my golf bag in it," okay, it's not the car for you. We get it.
No. It still can fit a set of golf clubs. It's still, like, when GM engineers a car, they know that Marjorie has been saving up all her money.
That's a good point.
Cutting coupons, right? Like, dude, the new Corvette still holds golf clubs and like weekend luggage.
Well,
it's just for Marjorie, the engine isn't in the front anymore, and it's in the back.
Way to blow up my perfectly thought out example.
No, like, workshop it. We can edit this.
Yeah. I love it. We're going to iterate this bad boy till we get it right. Okay, so it's like a motorcycle. No. All right, so after the one-star review campaign, what happened after that? What you been up to?
Okay, so the thing went viral within, after one star. So, like, one star went viral. It was the top story on Reddit. It got national recognition. Like, it's super rare that anything in skiing crosses over into the mainstream, right? That rarely happens. And when it does happen, it's usually for really bad reasons, like a lift breaking,
Sonny
or
Bono.
a celebrity dying, you get it, right? Like, so for us, it was a positive, tongue-in-cheek thing that all of a sudden catapulted this brand into like national and international recognition. It became, by everything I can measure, the most successful ad campaign that skiing's ever done. And it was true. It was true to what Snowbird was. It's not like we pulled something off that wasn't true to the brand. Like, it was at its core Snowbird. So it did super well. Like, everyone's hot takes on it came out, like the blogosphere. Everyone with a friggin' LinkedIn account or a Medium account started writing about it. And then, we got some national recognition from places like Adweek and some others, and it did quite well.
Doesn't Adweek give out awards?
Yeah, we got a best print.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, top 10 print of the year. With some other small companies like Toyota and Burger King. Maybe you've heard of them.
Dude, I just love it. I just love it. So that from your humble beginnings back in the East Coast, riding ice mountains and tinkering with Perl scripts, to winning an Adweek award and national recognition for sending it with the sickest campaign I've probably ever seen in my life.
Nice, my man. Yeah,
nice.
Quite the ride.
So you've moved on. You're a mercenary for hire now, and you're doing what you're calling the Summer of Digi. Tell me all about your summer plans.
I am. So summer's kind of winding down, so I should probably figure out what I'm going to do for work now and maybe get a job.
It's September 4th.
There are 19 days. There are 19 days left of summer, so I can fuck around for 19 more days. So I left Snowbird June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great opportunity, but there's some things in my life that came up, like me coming out, getting a boyfriend, having that boyfriend graduate med school, and then having him move to Kansas City to do his residency, and me wanting a job that kind of respects my personal boundaries a little more, where I'm not bringing work home with me and can be a little bit more flexible in where I live, because I was at Snowbird about 7 days a week from end of October until end of June, usually. So I was living there. I mean, it's a very demanding job.
And one sec, as you mentioned, you came out, you introduced everybody to your boyfriend, and you're doing this in Salt Lake City, which is not, we'll say, the most open-minded town on the planet.
Salt Lake City itself, yes.
Okay, yes.
Surrounding areas, not so much, and that I learned the hard way from, some pretty fucked up stuff like death threats, people taking the 1-star campaign and leaving 1-star reviews about me, my boyfriend, my dog, like some pretty hateful, hurtful, and nasty things that no one should ever have to deal with because you're good at your job. So, that was kind of a bummer. Like, definitely had some rough moments where, I'd wake up and my Google News alert for the search terms I had set up around my name and everything were relaying back some pretty hateful shit. And that's a bummer. Like, that I don't wish that on anyone. But that was
a bit of a drag. A bit of a
drag, right?
Well, hey, if you're in Salt Lake and you're listening, wise the fuck up. Quit being so mean to people. Get your,
Yeah, and like, what really? You're going to come after the marketing guy who, like...
Yeah, didn't you say something like somebody had mentioned something about boycotting Snowbird because of you? It's like, okay, really?
Oh, dude, I saw it all. Like, people blame me for the success of the Icon Pass, said that I was behind it, which I am not, right? I have absolutely nothing to do with the founding of the Icon Pass.
So is that a competing product, just so we're clear?
No, well, not to Snowbird, right? Like, Snowbird accepts the Icon Pass. You can ski there 5 or 7 days on the Icon Pass if you have the base version or the big version.
Right.
But they were like, we had a great year. The resort set all sorts of records for skier visitation and other things, which I can't tell you. But they were saying, oh, it's the marketing guy because of Icon Pass, and he's behind that. I'm like, am I really? Like, cool. When did I do that?
That's so sad that somebody's got not enough going on in their life and so much hate in their heart that they're going to just put it all on you because of your life choice. Like, they don't know you. They don't have to anyways.
Or my success, right? Like, sorry, I'm very good at my job, and the resort might be a little bit busier now, but we had a great snow year and we had a great ad campaign and we have a great website and we have great communication and great social, and we're enticing people to ski more, and we now have a product base that lets more people ski here. Like, should you tell me you're gonna kill my dog because of that? No, that's no.
All right. Well, let's not give that any more. No.
Yeah.
We can give you the airtime, but let's not give the haters out there more airtime. So, your wonderful new boyfriend, he Kansas City or something?
Yeah, he's in Kansas City. So he just graduated from the University of Utah Med School, and is doing a highly competitive program in med psych. So there are 26 spots across the whole country that have this program. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's 13. I forget. It's super. It's
sounds
tough
elitist.
To get into, but he's a brainiac. He speaks a few languages. Like, he's a bit of an overachiever.
Yeah.
Much like his boyfriend. When you go into your residency, they have something called the match, and it's really a computer algorithm that dictates like where you move. So at the same time, like I think it's like 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And like on every time zone, every med student opens this envelope, and then that's where they find out where they have to move, and they're legally bound to do it.
It's kind of like
it's the Hunger Games
or Hogwarts, where they pick your house or something.
I've never seen the Harry Potter movies, but probably.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm like the only geek that hasn't seen Harry Potter.
You know, I've only seen a couple of them. I was a little too old. I didn't read them. Oh, my kids haven't seen them yet either.
Oh well.
Yeah.
So we're both bad people. I don't know.
So the summer of Digi, your bay is accepted to a residency program. You got a convertible, bikes, and a lot of time on your hands. What are you doing?
So I've been going back and forth between here and Kansas City. So when Summer Digi first started in June, I had my sister's amazing wedding in Rhode Island. We both went back for that. Spent a week in Rhode Island, just kind of relaxing, and I got to show him like my hometown and spend time with my family, and like it was really awesome. And then we flew back to Utah. He had already moved into my house, so this room that I'm in was actually all of his crap that we had to move to Kansas City. So we loaded up a U-Haul, attached a trailer to his car. I went and bought I bought 2 cars this year because I'm an idiot. So I'm the only guy that like quits his job and buys 2 cars. So I was lucky enough at Snowbird to have a company car. So I had a Subaru Outback that I had to turn in naturally when you resign from your job. And I went and bought a Mazda CX-5 SUV, and I had bought a Miata a few months earlier. So
Miata, what?
The answer is always Miata on my budget. If I had a higher budget, the answer would not be Miata.
Yeah, what do you want for breakfast, Miata? Where do you want to go tonight, Miata?
Miata, yeah. So I bought a Miata in like March, and then realized I couldn't really go mountain biking or across the country in a Miata, so I bought the Mazda SUV as well.
Gotcha.
So, dude, Halo products work. That goes to show you. Halo products work.
Yeah, so on that note, we have a hosting plan on our website, which is called Pulsar. It's $20,000 starting price. And that's just setting the benchmark. You know what I mean? But, you know, everybody buys the stuff below it, but at least they know where the ceiling is.
Hey, yeah, it's financial high tide, right?
So, you know, I follow your Instagram, you know, as not as a stalker, not as a fan, but as a friend.
Sure.
And, you know, I see you out there on the Wasatch Trail. You're just beating it down on the mountain bike and spending what seems to be an idyllic summer in the Rockies. So what are your plans now that, as you say, Summer of Digi is almost over? And by the way, great job branding your summer, by the way.
Hey, weird. The marketing guy can brand things, right? So strange. Oh man, it's really funny. Like this is a side note, but I'm at the top of Park City Mountain. I just climbed like an hour and a half on my bike, and they have this like cute little yurt that's like a Bavarian yurt, and they have like, you know, like brie plates and all this. And I'm like, I'm gonna get like a beer and then like a Sando, like, and I'm placing my order, and the guy taking my order goes, "Dude, Summer of Digi looks sweet. I've never met this person in my life," right? And I'm like, what is happening right now?
You're Instagram
Whoa,
famous.
Summer Dip. I only have like 9,500 followers, but like, it's people know. Like, they're like, whoa, Digi's here. Like, oh my god, what's happening? But yeah, so Summer of Digi, you nailed it. Like, I spent 3 weeks in Kansas City in June, like setting up his apartment, getting to know Kansas City. Didn't really dig it that much. Surprise, surprise, because there's no mountains. And it doesn't really snow much. It snows like 16 inches a year there.
Yeah.
And it's in the Midwest. But, you know, he's loving his program. The hospital's great. The apartment's set up. It's in a great neighborhood. Like, I've been back there already again. Like, it's great. So I come back home July 3rd. Snowbird's open July 4th. So I go skiing on July 4th. It's
Yes.
Snowbird. No big deal, right? Like, 711-inch year. I'm back in Utah with all my friends. We're at closing day at Snowbird on July 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And then, honestly, since then, I've just been doing a lot of things that, like, I didn't have time to do because I mentioned, like, I've been working so hard. I haven't really taken any time. Like, I haven't been on a vacation in forever. So I've been catching up with friends that I didn't have, like, the time due to both of us having busy schedules, been hanging out, been getting into Salt Lake. I've been mountain biking and road biking my brains out. Like my house is finally not a disaster area. Like, I've been traveling. I've been back to Kansas City again. I've keynoted a digital marketing conference. Like, I've just been kind of carrying or going wherever the wind carries me. And I haven't been really actively on the job hunt. I've just been kind of rewiring my brain to not be answering emails at 2 a.m. and waking up early and, like, just grinding myself into a paste. So, you know, I'm trying to figure out what's the next 20 years of my career look like.
Right.
And without just locking myself in a room and, like, coming to a decision. I'm like, you know, it'll happen. Do I want to stay in skiing? Do I want to spend more time in Kansas City? You know, what is it going to be? So now that summer ends in 19 days, I'm starting to have a hard kind of look at what's the next thing. So I know it's marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I love digital marketing. I love traditional marketing. I love all aspects of marketing. I love the creative process. I love branding. I love building websites. I love crafting campaigns. Like, all of it. That stuff all gets me on. But is it going to be for technology, or is it going to be skiing? Like, I went to school for marketing and computer science. I have this, like, rare blend of both. So, you know, my nickname is Digidave, and that's not by accident. You know, I love computers and technology, so maybe it's a time for a pivot into tech. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so, you know, and if your summer comes gracefully to a close, you just turn it into a sabbatical and keep going.
Yeah, but you got to remember, I bought 2 new cars. I still have car payments. I still have rent. Like, my burn rate is kind of high right now.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't think you'll have a shortage of opportunities once you decide to, you know, put yourself out there and start looking again. I don't think you'll have a shortage of opportunities for sure.
No. But, you know, it's got to be an opportunity that allows me to go between Salt Lake and Kansas City.
Yeah.
You know, ski, obviously. Like, I fell in love with Salt Lake. If you told me that living in Aspen, that in 5-6 years I'm going to be in Salt Lake City, I said, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I'm never moving to Salt Lake. And here I am sitting in my home office in Salt Lake. Like, it's the greatest blend of, like, mountain culture, convenience, and everything else that I like. Like, I love living in Aspen, but when you're like, my oil needs to be changed and I need to take a day out of work to drive to Denver to get it done.
Yep.
Or, hey, I really like new shoes. Maybe I should drive to Denver to get shoes, right? Like, I'm hooked on convenience now.
You know, Salt Lake, I grew up there and went to high school there and then left and haven't been back except for visit, you know. So right after high school, I moved away. But, you know, every time I take Sally back there and we take the kids and we see the family, there's always something in the back of my head that I'm like, God, I could almost see myself living here again. It's so stinking beautiful. And it just, you get all the seasons, you get all the terrain. And by and large, the people are pretty decent and friendly. They have some definite conservative slant to them that you have to work around, obviously. But by and large, it's a wonderful community, and I love that, like, as you said, there's that blend of the mountain culture. Like, I don't know if you can't picture it, Salt Lake is amazing. It's flat, and then bam, 11,000-foot mountains right there. And it's all of 30 minutes from the airport to 5 or 6 world-class ski resorts. It is amazing.
And the airport's amazing. It's not like we have this podunk airport. It's an international hub for Delta.
Yep.
Like, if you want to get out of Salt Lake, it's 15 minutes from my house, door to door, to gate. Like, it's
easy peasy.
In Denver, the airport's actually in Kansas. I think DIA is in Kansas.
Denver's a shit show, man.
Oh, Denver is a shit show, dude. Oh my God.
Denver's done it all
Denver
wrong.
when I thought Denver was getting busy. Oh man, the Front Range is getting busy. I should move into Aspen. I go back now and I'm like, oh my God, I left this when I thought it was busy. That wasn't busy. This is bananas.
Yeah, Denver's suffering, I think, from a bit of a tech boom, kind of like Austin and Boston, and all the non-San Franciscos are kind of dealing with their own ick right now.
We're getting it too, man. Silicon Slopes is blowing up. Adobe, Domo, even in fintech, like, we're seeing a lot of money getting pumped into Wells Fargo, Fidelity. Like, those guys are moving Californians here because the cost of living is cheaper for now.
Everything down around the point of the mountain, right? Down there in Lehigh.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, okay, but here's my biggest knock on Salt Lake. You ready? MLM capital of the world.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of multi-level marketing, dude. That stuff is dirty.
It's insipid, and because of the culture of Salt Lake City, there tends to be a exorbitant number of wives with free time on their hand that then get sold into doing essential oils, and man, watch out, Salt Lake will get its hooks in you.
Yeah. And next thing you know, you open your social network of choice and you're seeing, like, oh my God, clean up your skin today. This magical product. Well, call me for detail. Like, like, report as spam, unfriend, block, like, throw my computer into a fire. Like, it's brutal.
Well, so before we wound down here, I'll just ask you a few random questions. What are you reading lately? Any books on your shelf?
I just reread Chris Diamond's book, which is called Ski Inc., which is really, if you're in the industry, it's kind of a savage takedown of, I'd say, the last kind of period of consolidation we came out of with American Skiing Company and some really insider stuff. But I worked for American Skiing Company for a little while, so it was kind of fun to read. I am a voracious consumer of all sorts of tech news. Like, I have a browser tab list called Morning Coffee, and it's literally, like, if I go to it right now, it is just Ars Technica, The Verge, like, obviously Reddit, Lifehacker, Hacker News, God, what else? Engadget, not really so much anymore. But, like, I just rapidly consume tech news. And then I'm kind of hooked on YouTube University. Like,
what are you learning?
I just bought myself a cheap little Motorola handset so that I can just bang on Android a little bit, just to kick around and see how hard app development is. I don't think I want to get into app development again. I built an app with Snowbird. Oh my God, it's hard.
Yeah. It's probably much more fun promoting it.
Well, I mean, I worked with my developer in Pakistan and my project manager to build it, but I was by no means like writing any code anymore. That's kind of like what I've been reading. I don't read for fun. Anytime I read, it's like highly technical and like, I'll go through like something on a new version of PHP for some reason. Like I'm just a dork.
Well, what's your social media guilty pleasure?
I don't know. Like, I'm pretty. It's not like, I mean, I'm big on Instagram. I rarely use Facebook now. I got backed on LinkedIn in the last 2 weeks because it's like, well, if I'm gonna find a job, I should get on LinkedIn, and I still hate it. I love Twitter. Twitter is definitely my favorite way to stir the pot. Like, I think, like last Saturday, I made this like kind of vicious like little poke at the ski industry, and I think that tweet probably has like 60,000 impressions right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like
I do get
my
a
guilty
cook
pleasure
at just
definitely Twitter.
I do get a wow, that's funny. I forgot the word. I do get a kick. How do you forget the word kick? I do get a kick out of poking the bear sometimes.
Oh yeah, like tell them something they don't want to hear, but everybody knows. And
yeah, speaking truth to power, the emperor has no clothes.
Well, it's also like no one can tell me to delete my tweets anymore. So
you ain't gonna censor me. All right, Dave.
Handcuffs are off, baby.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Please tell everybody where they can find you.
Obviously on the internet. My Instagram and Twitter handle are both OZSkier, OZSKIER. You can follow along for the next 19 days on the Summer of Digi, which will be entertaining because Luke, actually, my boyfriend, lands here Friday for his first vacation, and we're going to be touring around the desert and going to some pretty cool places. So that's where you can find me.
Excellent.
Please just don't send me any hate mail. I've had enough.
Let's be nice. Let's be nice, everyone. So, all right, you heard it here first. If you're a tech company or any sizable company out there looking for a technical marketing genius, a mercenary for hire, I dare say, and winner of Adweek awards and the admiration of me, my friend Dave Amirault. Thank you so much, Dave. Take care.
You cannot put a price tag on that. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers.